This story comes from a woman named Marissa, who was 29 when this happened. She and her boyfriend had just moved into a rental house in rural Pennsylvania. It was old but cozy, with a long driveway and woods in the back. Nothing fancy, but perfect for a couple starting fresh. About 3 weeks after moving in, Marissa started noticing weird things. Small things. At first, her keys would be in a different spot than where she left them. Shoes she never wore were suddenly by the back door. Lights turned on when she was sure she turned them off. Her boyfriend brushed it off as her being stressed or forgetful. But then, one night, while he was working late, Marissa heard something that made her stomach turn, breathing, coming from directly beneath the living room floor. They had a small crawl space under the house, barely tall enough to crouch in, and the only access point was a latched panel in the laundry room. She knew no one should be down there. She called her boyfriend and made him stay on the phone while she went to check. The hatch was still locked. That night, she barely slept. The next day, she had a locksmith come and install new locks, just in case. The breathing stopped for a few days. Then, a week later, her boyfriend left early for work. Marissa stayed in bed for a while, scrolling on her phone. She heard the usual creaks from the house settling, and then she heard a voice, clear as day. She's still here. It was coming from the vent. She froze. Then she heard shuffling, this time above her, in the attic. Terrified, she grabbed her phone and ran outside, calling 911. When the police arrived, they did a full sweep of the house. At first, they didn't find anything. But then, one officer opened the crawlspace hatch. Inside, they found a sleeping bag, food wrappers, a flashlight, and a notebook full of dates and times. Handwritten notes like, she showers at 6:45 a.m., lights off by 11. Boyfriend gone Mondays. Whoever had been living there had been watching her. I think he entered weeks before they moved in. Maybe a squatter, maybe worse. But he was gone when they checked. They moved out the same day. This story was sent in by a guy named Caleb, who was 24 at the time. He lived in a one-bedroom apartment in northern Indiana. Cheap, quiet, and a little rundown, but it worked for him. He'd just gotten out of college and didn't mind the old creaks and faulty heating. It started on a random Tuesday night. Caleb had just laid down in bed and turned off the lights. The apartment was totally silent, except for the old air vent near the foot of his bed. It always made a soft hum when the heat kicked on, but that night he heard something else, a whisper. At first, he thought he imagined it, but then it came again, clearer this time. Voice whispering from inside the vent. He sat up, heart racing, and stared at the grate. The voice kept whispering something he couldn't make out. It wasn't urgent, just steady, like someone talking to themselves. Caleb grabbed his phone and started recording, but when he moved closer, it stopped. The next night, same thing. Around midnight, the voice came back. This time, he heard what it said. "Can you hear me now?" He called the landlord the next day, convinced maybe a homeless person had gotten into the walls, but the landlord said that wasn't possible. It was a shared building, and no other tenant had complained. Still, he agreed to check. When he did, he found something odd, scratches along the inside of the vent duct, deep ones, like fingernails, but no sign of a person or animal. That night, Caleb left his phone recording again, but this time he slid it inside the vent. What it captured was almost too disturbing to believe. At 12:17 a.m., the whisper returned. Then it laughed, a low, dry laugh, almost like a smoker's cough, then silence, and then banging. Not like footsteps, it's like someone was crawling through the ducts, getting closer. The sound of hands slapping thin metal, getting louder until slam, right against the phone, then static. The next morning, he checked the video. It had cut out at the exact moment of the slam, and when he went to retrieve his phone, it was gone. The vent grate had been pulled off, and the inside was empty. He moved out 2 days later. The landlord called him a month later, asking if he'd ever heard anything strange in the walls. The new tenant in that unit. She reported hearing someone whisper her name. This story was sent to me by someone named Jacob. He was 17 when it happened, still living with his mom in their old farmhouse in Vermont. It was a quiet, 2-story house, drafty, with a lot of strange corners and old furniture. There was a tall mirror in the hallway just outside his bedroom. He'd walked past it every day since he was a kid. But one night, around 2 a.m., he got up to use the bathroom and noticed something wrong with the mirror. It wasn't a reflection issue. His image was there, behind it. Way in the background, he saw movement, like something was standing just behind him. He spun around. Nothing. When he looked back, the mirror showed only him again. He chalked it up to sleepiness and went back to bed. Over the next few nights, it happened again. Started paying closer attention and realized the movement wasn't his. The figure behind him wasn't moving like him. It wasn't mimicking. It was watching. Eventually, he tried filming it. One night, he set up his phone on a tripod across from the mirror while he stood in front of it. When he reviewed the footage, something strange happened at exactly 2:43 a.m. for a few seconds. The reflection didn't match his movements. He turned his head, but the reflection didn't. It just stood still. Then it smiled. He showed it to his mom. She thought he edited the video somehow, so she deleted it, tried to forget about it, till the final night. He was getting ready for bed, brushing his teeth with the bathroom door cracked open. From the hallway, he heard it. 3 knocks on the mirror. Not the wall, not the floor, the mirror. He slowly walked toward it, heart pounding. Again, when he looked into it, he saw his reflection. Only, it wasn't brushing its teeth. It was smiling, eyes wide, unmoving. Then, slowly, the reflection raised his hand and pressed it against the inside of the mirror. He ran. They took the mirror off the wall the next morning and stored it in the barn. But a week later, it shattered. No one touched it. No storm, no wind. Just shattered, and in the middle of the glass, a single bloody handprint. Thanks for listening. If you've had a scary experience like these, feel free to send it in. My email in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I post new horror stories every week, and next week's might just be even worse.